Good morning, Sac City. Welcome into another edition of Sac City Podcast. I am your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined as always by my best friend in the whole entire world. He is Aaron, the Mukesiah Mukes. And below us, we have your boy, my boy, and everybody's boy. He is AJ Johnson. It is a beautiful November 10th morning here in the city. Episode 115 is about to kick off. We've got our DFS, or we have our Thursday night DFS plays today. We've got our Week 10 previews as well. Gentlemen, it is a little cold up here. I'm a little chilly, but I know one of you has a hurricane coming your way. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was like, you cold, man. This is cold, and I got to worry about my life. Hurricane's on its way. Hurricane Nicole. Because they put an H in it. I'm not sure why they put an H in Nicole. There's no H. I don't care that you want to say it's silent. It's Nicole.
It's silent.
So again, it's stupid. It's Hurricane. If it's Hurricane Nicole, it should just be Nicole. My sister's name is Nicole. It's probably her running through Florida right now. That's really what it is on its way up here to Georgia because she's crazy. But shout out to my sister, by the way. But no, really, yeah. There's a tropical storm coming through. It's putting my show in jeopardy. I'll be honest. I'm really upset, Vinny, because we have first alert weather at my station. And if there's anything crazy going on, like everything else shuts down. So my show tonight that's live is in jeopardy of not airing my playoff preview show. And I'm not going to be happy if that's the case. So Nicole or whoever, if it's my sister, take your ass back home because we don't need any of you coming up in here messing up my sports talk show. So, that's what I'm going through right now.
It's kind of I got two things to respond to with that. First, you and your problems with Nicole with an H, bro. Your name is spelled with two A's. We do not say Aaron. Like that's just a joke to say Aaron. Like,
my name's in the Bible.
Is Nicole in the Bible? Someone tell me. I need some Bible. Someone look it up in the Bible. I don't.
My name's she's in the background, bro. She's a background character.
And if she is, I guarantee it's spelled Nicole.
Oh man,
my name is spelled the way it's spelled.
Honestly, you're talking about Nicole, is what it seems like.
Yeah,
Nicole. The other thing I wanted to make a little joke of is, you remember back in the day when like one of us was in school and we joke around and say, "Hey, like, what are you doing tonight?" "Oh, not homework," because the other person had homework. Well, I can do this now. AJ, do you have a hurricane coming your way? You don't have a. You can go outside, right?
Funny enough, if it survives, I get all that on Saturday night.
Oh,
if it survives,
I was gonna say that goes up the coast. Mind. It might.
Never mind.
But I will say I'm not getting a hurricane. Like I am not personally in it. Like where we're at, we're not getting the hurricane. But there's supposed to be high winds and a lot of rain, and that cause again first alert of weathers and stuff. Like
you don't leave Florida. A hurricane doesn't leave Florida untethered. Like by the time it gets past Florida, it's beaten and broken and. It's just raining up the coast for most people.
I mean, we have been hit before, but not nothing crazy.
You get the aftershock. We've got a great show though. We're not weather people. This is not a weather channel. We are a football show. We are going to be talking football today. We've got morning headlines. We've got injury report. We've got Week 10 previews, and of course Thursday night football. Let's get down to business,
ladies and gentlemen. Can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Wristband Gate 2020, gentlemen, or 2022, gentlemen. Wristband Gate 2022. We've got some back and forth. It's a very low, light headline day when this is really the only headline we have, talking about Russell Wilson versus Pete Carroll in Wristband Gate 2022. Pete Carroll came out and said he had resistance to starting a quarterback that did not wear a wristband. Russell Wilson fired back, said he won a lot of games there without one on the wrist. Are you guys pro wristband or anti wristband?
I think this is stupid. I think this is stupid. Yeah, I know I'm the one who told you to put it in there. But I think the conversation between the two is stupid. Like, why is it that, like, when you have this, like, coach or player, organization or player that when they finally leave and they separate, why do people feel the need to go back and revisit, like throw shots and throw shade? Why can't they just appreciate, hey, we won together. It was time to move on. We moved on. Why is there always got to be something that comes out? And this didn't come out week 1 when these two teams played against each other. That would have been a different story. This is week 10. They don't have anything to do with each other, and one team is winning and the other team's like blah, and this conversation comes up. Like, I don't understand, and I'm sure it was the media that kind of egged this on. But if I'm a coach or if I'm a player in this situation, I'm like, bro, I don't even play for the Seahawks anymore. I don't care. And if I'm the coach, Pete Carroll, Russell's not here anymore. I don't. Why am I even going to say that? I just don't understand the shade that's thrown. I feel like people love negativity. They love to be drawn to that, and they want that narrative out there. I just think this was stupid. Pete Carroll should have never said what he said, and Russell Wilson responding, it just makes him look like more of a jackass. It's just stupid.
I mean, the Seahawks have been taking shots at Russ like all season subtly. And you're right about him responding. He should have let it go because he looks worse. It's the same thought process on the field. They always catch the second guy. And in as many weeks, basically, Russell Wilson looks like a one-man band again. And the reason you can point fingers at why their team's not winning games. When it comes to Seattle, I mean, they're on the way out the door, Russell Wilson talked about how he wasn't happy. He didn't have the pieces around him. And you look at guys like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf and what they've been able to do with Geno Smith. And a lot of people are like, what you talking about? You look at the offensive line, Geno Smith didn't get sacked that much. You're like, Russ, what you talking about? You look at a guy with the quarterback wrist on and he's making throws and the offense seems simple. You're looking at Russ, the improviser, you're like, what you talking about? It's just, I don't mind so much because I believe the media did draw it up a little bit. And of course they're going to go back at him, but Russ should have just kept it moving. He has more things to worry about than what he left behind. He definitely needs to focus more on the future because that seems to be their bigger problem while Seattle's feeling all right now. I don't know how you got on mute, but
Russ is the only quarterback in that circle, Geno and him, that got a Super Bowl ring. Like, Russ ain't got nothing to prove to nobody, really. Even though I talk shit about him, say he's not a Hall of Famer, he ain't got nothing to prove to nobody.
What?
No, what I'm saying is like, I may say like Russell has a lot in general, Russell Wilson can sit back and be like, I won a Super Bowl. I turned a franchise around that was not very good in Seattle.
He's got everything.
He can own that. He's got
a smoking hot wife.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. It might not validate for other people, but for himself, like, he doesn't need to respond to stuff like this. It's the same thing I said about Aaron Rodgers. Like, some of the things he does, like, he doesn't have to do those things. Who cares what people are saying? Because, dude, you've already won. Nobody. I think this is winners.
I think this is all about Russell Wilson and just what he has become of just a troll of the media. And I think that's really what it comes down to. Wristband Russ is in full effect, gentlemen. Wristband Russ is in full effect. Let's get into the injuries.
Hopefully I'm not falling and can't get up after this wind goes through my state. Injury report gas. Here. We got a lot of injuries. Obviously, the main one being Josh Allen. We continue to talk about it. The biggest news this week, and whether he will be able to play. He came out and said he's confident he can play, but he's still dealing with that. He's day-to-day. He did not practice. He's not throwing. Obviously, if you're the Bills, you don't need him to throw during practice. Why not just let him rest up until Sunday? So that's big news. Matt Stafford, more big news. Matt Stafford is in concussion protocol out of nowhere. Not sure how that happened or when that took place, but he is now in concussion protocol. Again, not really sure what's going on with Matt Stafford there, but will he be able to play this week? Who knows? It would be Brian Allen.
Not Johnny Wolford?
I'm assuming maybe it's Wolford. I don't know. Brian Allen missed practice too, I guess. So who knows? I don't know about Wolford. I don't know if it's Allen, but whoever it is, it's game over for the Rams if Stafford's not under center. So that's a big deal there. Some injury news for players that have already been announced out. We've talked about the Falcons secondary. Eric Harrison and AJ Terrell have already been announced out for this weekend's game. Rashad Higgins for the Panthers in that same game for today. Chuba Hubbard is questionable. Who knows if he'll play tonight? I think that's a big deal if he gets back on the field, maybe for some fantasy owners and Deontay Foreman. And then the list just goes on and on and on of wide receivers that did not practice. Julio Jones, Russell Gage, Keenan Allen's still limited. Adam Thielen was limited. not that this one matters, so I won't say that name. Mecole Hardman didn't practice. Travis Kelce were on the injury report, but didn't miss any time, so he should be okay. Vinny, I'm looking at all the injuries I had, and there's just so many. I want to wait until Friday to announce most of these, just because again it was Wednesday, and a lot of these were veteran days off and rest days. Wednesdays are kind of a heavy day, so let's wait till tomorrow to see where these injuries stack up, and we'll have a better idea, and then a full picture on Sunday when we get our actives, inactives as we head into the weekend.
Yeah, and to clarify some things with the quarterback situation in Los Angeles, the depth chart looks like behind Matthew Stafford, it is John Wolford and then Bryce Perkins. I'm not sure where you got Brandon Allen from. I don't see him on their depth chart, at least from the depth chart that I'm looking at. So either way, though,
their depth chart, not depth chart.
Depth chart, depth with a T.
Depth chart.
The man who wants to pronounce it as Nachol wants me to pronounce it as depth. Is depth? We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
I wasn't referring to the quarterback. That is my apologies. It was Brian Allen, the center. I did not specify the position, and I didn't put it on the sheet. So I just said Brian Allen, and we were talking about the quarterback. And Brian Allen is a quarterback, and so I was.
Isn't it Brandon Allen? I thought isn't there Brandon Allen?
Brian Allen is the center for the Rams.
But no, the quarterback. Isn't it Brandon Allen? Is there a quarterback named Brian Allen?
There's a center named Brian Allen that I confused for a quarterback. Brian Allen is the center. He also did not practice. You have your center. No, I'm saying you have your center and your quarterback. Okay. We're both not at practice, and they'd be in trouble if they miss both, obviously.
That's where we're at. All right, that's our injury report. That's our morning headlines. Let's get into some game previews. Let's go around the world and start things off with the Seahawks taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Munich, Germany. The Bucs come into this game as the favorites in this game, although their record does not show that they're the better team. The Bucs are 3-0. Oh shit. That was not supposed to happen. Aaron, there's your pick. Hopefully you're listening to us on our podcasting platform where you don't see that. But Bucs, Seahawks, Bucs are 3-point favorites, over under a 44.5. Aaron, why do we keep? Is this I talk to you all the time about disrespecting with lines and everything, and this isn't this is a road game for both these teams. Both these teams have to do quite a bit of ways of traveling. Maybe Seattle a little bit more, but the Bucs get the 3-point favorite here. What is going into that? Are the Bucs back? Are we starting to think the Bucs are back, or is this disrespectful to the Seahawks?
No, it's not disrespectful to the Seahawks. I mean, despite the Seahawks being 6-3, let's remember, they're still the Seahawks. They still have Geno Smith at quarterback. We could go dissect their schedule and talk about maybe what games are good wins, what games are bad wins. They've won 4 straight. They're playing well. There's no reason for me to sit up here and bash the Seahawks or say I don't believe in the Seahawks. But at the end of the day, we have to compare teams. You're starting to look at, okay, now you go position by position. Are you taking Brady or Geno? I'm sorry, I don't care how good Geno Smith is playing. I'm taking Brady. You start talking at offensive line. Maybe you take Seattle's offensive line. But I'm taking Tampa Bay's receiver core. I know DK and Tyler Metcalf are good. Tyler Lockett are good. It's a rough day already. Tyler Lockett are good, but I like the depth. I do like the depth in the receiving core of Tampa Bay, and you mix in the tight end that's been playing really well. And then you talk about the defensive side of the football. I trust that defense in Tampa Bay more than I trust the defense in Seattle. So I don't know that it's disrespectful to Seattle. I think this is a game between two probably even teams right now. Seattle might be playing a little better, but from a personnel standpoint, they're probably even. You probably lean on the side of experience with the quarterback position. I think that shows in the line saying that they're a 3-point favorite. But no, I think this is like one of those games that in reality is probably a toss-up game, but the Vegas odds are like, hey, we're going to go with the experience here in this situation. And you're going to see this with the Giants. You're going to see this with the Jets. You're going to see this with Seattle. There are going to be people that still don't quite fully buy in until we've seen it for a longer period of time. And that's just where we're at. I think it's a fair assessment. You know how I am on resume. Like, you can have a nice stretch. You got to prove yourself over and over again. Seattle has won 4 straight, but prior to that, they had lost 3 of 4. So is that the team, or is the recent team the team? Like we don't know. So I think that's the question mark there. Tampa Bay has also been up and down, but again, there's a resume there. There's a history of them being good for long stretches of time, and I think that's really how this line really played out.
Yeah, and I think there still is a lot of questioning on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side. The offense, we know, has not been firing on all cylinders or clicking. And the defense, over the past 3 weeks, the defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in terms of stopping the run has not been good. They're bottom 5 in the league in terms of yards per game allowed the past 3 games. Last week, they looked good against the Rams, only allowing 68 yards. But AJ, they are going up against Ken Walker this week. What do we expect to see from the Bucs defense versus Ken Walker on Sunday?
Yeah, and I don't know that it was so much that they looked good against the Rams, but the Rams' rushing attack has also not been what it needs to be. That was 2 teams that were going to come out and look to air the ball. They only gave 60 yards rushing to the Rams. When you look at the last 2 games, they were putting up over 170 on the Bucs. They haven't been stopping the run that we're used to seeing from the Bucs. And like you look at them, and they have the top 3 in yards allowed per game, but 4.6 yards per carry is being allowed when you're looking at a guy like Ken Walker, who's come onto the scene really strong and has 5 yards a carry. This guy has been, I think it was 160 last week. This is going to be a team that's probably going to try to run the ball as much as they can to open up the pass because to be honest, the Buccaneers defense has not been as top notch as it was last season. While their secondary has been good on one-on-one opportunities, only allowing 7 touchdowns, I think, in the last over the course of the season to wide receivers. That is, this Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, they're not the only people who are getting going. I mean, Geno Smith has found a way to adapt to whatever the defense has been throwing to them. Last week, even though Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf were able to score, they did a pretty good job of trying to lock them up. So what did Geno Smith do? He adapted. He found Noah Fant for what felt like the first game all season long. So again, to answer that question from earlier, I don't think it's disrespectful. I think with a neutral site, all the neutral games being 5 points or less, I think you're going to get a battle, and you're going to have to see who has the ball last and if one of those teams can prevail.
Aaron, let's talk about the other side of things. With the other side of the other team's defense, in this case, the Seattle Seahawks. Where are we at with them? Where are they at right now? They started off the season, obviously, there was a shootout against Detroit. They were allowing a lot of points, but they've seemed to correct things lately. What are you seeing from that defense specifically that matches up well against the Bucs?
Well, the young guys are stepping up. We've talked about Tariq Woolen a number of times. We talked about Kobe Bryant in that defense, Uchenna Nwosu being one of the better premier edge rushers and getting to the quarterback in this season. And we liked that acquisition coming from the Chargers. Maybe the Chargers should have kept him. But I think it's just young guys growing. And this is what happens when you have a lot of inexperience on a defense. You get better and better. You get veterans back there like Quandre Diggs who can help those young guys in the secondary. But just like these young guys don't fear these old veterans anymore. And I think I talked about it the other day, the NBA mentality of, I'm going against LeBron, like, oh, God, there's this mystique about it. Nobody cares. Seattle players this week aren't coming in there saying, oh, no, we're playing Tom Brady, guys. We got to worry about it. They don't care. Half these young kids don't even really comprehend what Tom Brady has done in this league. I'm serious about this. Like, a lot of these young athletes today don't understand the history of the game because our society has changed so much. We got guys saying they never even watched a football game from start to finish before. That takes away from some of that mystique that a guy like Tom Brady comes in with. So they're not afraid of teams that are that have a lot of veterans like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to come in, they're going to play loose, and they're going to play free. And I think that gives them extra motivation and confidence. And on defense, that's really what it's about, right? Am I confident enough to stand right across the line of scrimmage from Tom Brady or right across the line of scrimmage from Mike Evans and say, I'm going to lock you down? And I think guys like Tariq Woolen and those guys are confident enough to do that. So they've been playing well. Again, do I know that that's the true Seahawks? I don't. I really don't, because they've had stretches throughout the season that they've been up and down. So we will find out as we enter the down the stretch. But I still have Tampa in this one. AJ talked about the defense. There's one thing about the Tampa Bay defense. They give up all the yards in the world because they're on the field a lot, because their offense hasn't scored. They're only still giving up 18 points a game. If you look at the games they lose because Their offense is not scoring in the red zone. They're settling for field goals, and they're not being able to sustain drives. I think eventually that ends. I said it last week. Eventually, those turn into touchdowns, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are good enough to overcome red zone problems, in my opinion. So I have Tampa Bay in this one, 24-20. I don't think you can beat. I think you have to score more than 24 points to beat Tampa Bay in most cases. And I think that's the case here. Their last couple losses, Baltimore and whatever, they were able to score more on Tampa Bay. I don't think this offense can. Tampa Bay wins 24-20.
I don't know.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm doubling down. I'm doubling down on this, making this one simple. I got the Bucks in here as well, 26-21, and I feel bad. Like I'm starting to feel bad. Like just at what point do we start believing in these? Like when I get a Giants game, when I get a Jets game, when I get a Seahawks game, like the three teams that have really just shocked the world, and I pick against them, I'm like, what do these guys have to do to like earn the trust of picking them in a game? And it's not obviously it's not as simple as that. But in this one specifically, I do have the Bucks because I do think that they're going to start getting things back on track. Maybe divorce Tom is the thing. Maybe that's a real thing, and he plays better. That it really, you're on to something there. Give me the Bucks 26-21. AJ, what about you?
Yeah, this is going to sound a little weird, but I think that it's okay to start trusting the Seahawks. I mean, we've doubted them from before the season even started, and they found a way to prove us wrong in a lot of different cases. In this game coming up against the Bucks have to find a way to be less one-dimensional. I know it's Tom Brady. I know it's Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all those names, but over the last 3 or 4 games, the Seattle Seahawks secondary has allowed less than 200 yards passing. And all Tom Brady and them are going to do is air the ball out. So if they keep dropping passes, it's not going to run the way they want. I think the Seahawks have this one. The spread may be too much here with the 6 points, but I'm going to go 27-21 and keep it. First game, average over more than 5 points in the international game. 27-21 Seahawks.
The next game on our list is the Detroit Lions traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Bears come into this game 3-6, riding high, and the Lions 2-6, also kind of riding high. Both these teams coming off of, well,
you said it right.
Yeah,
big division win. You said it right.
Yeah, it was a big division win for the Lions, and the Bears though. That's the team that I feel like we've been talking about the most on this show, Aaron. You've been moving them up and up and up on the power rankings. Continue to move them up this week. If you missed that show, go check it out on our YouTube page. It is still there at Sac City Pod. The Bears riding high. They're favorites in this game by 3 points. The over/under 48.5. They're expecting a good type of offensive game from both these teams who have offenses that have been clicking. I guess I really shouldn't say the Lions' offense has been clicking, only scoring 15 points last week, but still one of the more higher scoring offenses in this league. Aaron, what are you watching for the most in this game?
It's the continued development of Justin Fields. We've praised Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears for the last couple of weeks, and there were losses, and they've been in losses, right? So it really hasn't been about wins and losses. They got blown out by the Dallas Cowboys. They got beat by the Miami Dolphins. But the difference was in those games, they scored 32 points. They scored 29 points, and the offense looked different. And then the game before that, they actually won, scoring 33. So this team is averaging more than 30 points a game over their last 3 games. And since that Commanders game where we were all watching that Thursday Night Football like this is atrocious, why do they put the Bears on TV? Why do they put these teams on TV? The Bears have actually looked really, really good offensively. They're efficient. They're using Justin Fields appropriately. They're getting him outside of the pocket. They're moving the pocket for him to protect him, but also allow him to use his skill set to create with – there's still a void of weapons there. You add Chase Claypool, nice weapon. You still have Darnell Mooney, cool, but there's still a void of weapons there that they need to elevate, and they have to do something different, and they've done that. Cole Kmet's gotten involved. 2 touchdowns last week. I think they've done a nice job recognizing the strengths and weaknesses of Justin Fields at this point in his career, and they've exploited the strengths and minimized the weaknesses. And I think you're going against a Detroit Lions defense that albeit they played really well against Green Bay, a lot of that was just Green Bay not being very good. And Aaron Rodgers being short on throws to wide open guys and not reading the defense appropriately and things like that. I think the Bears continue to have success in this one. And I think it's another situation where you see a high-scoring game from 2 defenses that aren't very good right now, including the Bears defense, after the trades of Roquan Smith and stuff. So I think this is a high-scoring game, but I'm really looking for Justin Fields to continue to progress as the season moves on.
Yeah, when you look at the Lions defense too, and the strengths of the Chicago Bears offense, it's down to the rushing, and the Detroit Lions rushing defense is second worst in the NFL in terms of yards per game allowed. It's definitely a good matchup for the Bears offense here. AJ, the Lions lost both these games last year to the Bears 24-14 and 16-14. What do they have to do? What do the Lions specifically have to do in this one to pull out a dub?
I mean, I think a lot of it is going to hinder on the health of DeAndre Swift, and I know it's more than a one player type of game, of course, obviously. But since he's been out, their offense just hasn't been able to find the same electricity. You know, the first 4 games of the season, they're scoring upwards of 30 points each game. Now, in 3 of their last 4 games, they've yet to clear 50. They've barely cleared 15 points. You look at the Bears defense, and I agree this one, they'll get over 15 points. If they can get down the field with the guys like Amon-Ra and, I guess the uses of Khalif Raymond, and then, let Jamal Williams do what he does. I know it is that gross. Let Jamal Williams do what he does at the goal line, power back some touchdowns in. It may look a little bit better, but I think this is another timing thing for them, and they're going to get an opportunity to catch this defense that has been reeling over 84 points in the last 2 games combined. It's going to be a tough sledding. It's going to be tough sledding. That defense is going to have to show up like it did last week, and it's going to be tough when you have one of the best escape artists I've seen in a very long time playing quarterback in Justin Fields, because they're giving up more than 5 yards per carry to the quarterback. Now, that's not crazy because a quarterback normally gets a lot of yards per carry, because when they're running, it's because everything's wide open. So it's going to be a little tough for them this week, and I don't know if it's going to come through for these guys. I have got the Bears in this one, if I'm not mistaken. I can't find mine, but you got to put it on the screen for me. Woo! 24-21 Chicago. Give me the dub.
Yeah, I also have the Bears. I think that Justin Fields is too much. I think the Lions are going to have struggle keeping him contained in the pocket. Maybe you get Aiden Hutchinson, who does a good job, but I think that's it. I think he's going to have another day here. Justin Fields looks the part right now, and a lot of Bears fans should be happy because this is what you expected and it's what you wanted, and they don't even have really talent around him like they should, and going forward they might have. So give me the Bears here in this one. I think they stay hot as far as the way they're playing, but this time they get the dub. 2 of their last 4, Bears win 27-21.
Let's make it a clean sweep here for the Bears. I have them 28-24. I think the rushing attack for the Bears ends up prevailing. I think they get David Montgomery a little bit more involved as well this week with how bad the Lions rushing defense has been. You get Monty going, you get Justin Fields going. That's a recipe for success to get a dub against the Detroit Lions. We all have the Bears as a clean sweep over the Lions in this NFC North showdown. The next game on our list is the Houston Texans traveling to New Jersey to take on the Giants, the 1-6-1 Texans, the 6-2 Giants. Giants favored by 5 points in this matchup with an over/under of just 40.5 here. Yes, Aaron, it's your. This is like a heaven game for you.
Bainbridge. Yep.
This is a heaven for you, because not only is it Bainbridge legend Dameon Pierce, but it's also your boy Saquon Barkley, who you have been high on all season. Let's talk about the running back matchup in this one. Saquon, Dameon Pierce, obviously they're not going head-to-head physically on the field, but statistically they will be going head-to-head. Which running back is more important to their offense to succeed and win this game? Does Saquon mean more, or does Dameon Pierce mean more to the success of these offenses?
Well, that's close because they both are the MVPs of their offense. They both are really important to what they're trying to do. But I'm going to tell you this right now. The Giants are, 6-2. First of all, I want an apology from everybody that's like, Saquon Barkley, injury prone, he's washed, blah, blah, he's not that good. Mainly Dylan Kearns. Saquon Barkley is the New York Giants offense. He accounts for all of their offense. He is that offense. If he doesn't produce, their offense is nothing. So it is going to be Saquon Barkley in this game. Saquon Barkley is the driving force behind what the Giants are doing. Yes, the defense is playing extremely well, but it starts right there. It started week 1 with Saquon Barkley and him looking like he was back to his old self at Penn State and then his rookie year with the Giants. This is arguably the most talented running back, and I know this is going to sound crazy, that we have ever seen. Like, people were saying that coming out of college, that he was the most talented, highly touted prospect that we had ever seen. And people jumped off that bandwagon really quickly because that's what people do when people get hurt. Oh, no, they're done. It's over with. They're injury prone. Well, Saquon is saying, nah, I'm not done yet. And I think it's important for him to continue to play as well as he's played through 8 games because that's where the Giants are heavily relying on. We talked about how many points they're scoring. It's not a lot. They have to win games ugly, and they've done that. Now, can they go win a Super Bowl with that formula? I don't particularly think so. However, for regular season to stack up wins and give you an opportunity in the playoffs, I think you can, and that's what they have to continue to do. Continue to hand him the ball, continue to throw him the ball, and let Daniel Jones not be asked to do too much so he doesn't make the mistakes.
Yeah, I think in this one, it really comes down, like, we know how talented both these running backs are. I think 2 things that it comes down to is, the fact that Houston Texans rush defense is one of the worst in the NFL, if not the worst in the NFL, allowing the most yards against running backs. But also the fact that we've seen the Texans offense, I feel like, not go to Dameon Pierce as much as they probably should. Whereas the Giants, we have seen the Giants continue to just feed Saquon. I think that's a big difference here. AJ, what's the key for the Texans here to get to pull off the upset?
Well, besides all the conversation of giving Dameon Pierce the ball, first we need to see that Brandon Cooks is going to play. First, we need to know if Nico Collins is going to be healthy. And then we have to limit the mistakes from Davis Mills. I respect the Texans for not, blowing it up immediately, giving this guy a shot, let him get behind quarterback and see if he can develop. And every now and then he shows flashes of why they felt that way. But way too often you see the mistakes. The 2 interceptions last week when in a game where everyone was ready for them to just get trounced, and he actually kept it close. And then when it came time to, show up, he turned the ball over. Granted, against one of the best secondaries in the NFL. But that's happened time and time again. Limiting mistakes against this defense is going to be key. Granted that they're going to be able to rush the ball because the Giants don't cover the rush as well as some people like to think. But they're also going to be missing Xavier McKinney in this one, so they can be had in the air if they're at a full complement of receivers and that Davis Mills doesn't turn the ball over. Does that mean they're going to beat the crap out of him? Does that mean they're going to throw it all over the yard? I don't think so. But I do think that the Giants have enough in this one, and if you want my pick, I'll go right into it for you. Give me the Giants in this one, 27-17.
Vinny, I don't want to come at you or combat what you're saying, but I do think that Houston since week 1 has gone to Dameon Pierce as much as Saquon Barkley has been given the ball in with the Giants. Outside of the week 1 where there was like a 10-touch discrepancy between Saquon Barkley and Dameon Pierce, they have pretty much been pretty equal as far as touches on the year. Now, obviously, there is a slight edge to Saquon Barkley. He's at 191 touches, second behind Derrick Henry. But Dameon Pierce is 4th in the NFL in touches. And he started with week 1 and 2, only really getting 28 those combined weeks. Since then, he's been over 20 touches basically every game. Last week, he had 27. He's at 29 this year. I think he has touched the ball a lot. I think the difference with the Giants and with Houston is the Giants' defense has been better, allowed the Giants to stay in games to where they don't have to throw the ball as much. And I think so game script, Dameon Pierce starts early, gets a lot of touches, and maybe late he's not getting those touches. And so game script has determined when those touches are happening. And so it looks like Houston's not getting Dameon Pierce involved because they're always playing from behind, whereas New York's games are really close. But at the end of the day, the touches kind of level out. I just think it's important for Houston to put him in better situations on the defensive side of the football, playing a little bit better. But with that being said, give me the Giants. I think it's a low-scoring game. I don't think their offense is good enough even to score on Houston. I think their offense is very pedestrian outside of Saquon Barkley. I think the Giants' defense is good, though. 17-13, New York wins.
Yeah, what do I know? I am just the host. I know nothing about anything. You are correct statistically on the Dameon Pierce front. I was talking out of my ass on that one. Give me the Giants as well. Clean sweep, 23-17. It's just as simple as this is the better team in this game. The Giants are on a roll, and I do not think a Texans team coming into their home barn is going to stop the Giants from their roll. They win 23-17, and it's a clean sweep for the Giants over the Houston Texans. The next game on our list is the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Cowboys at 6-2, the Packers 3-6. The Cowboys enter this game 4.5-point favorites with an over/under of 43 points here. This is really, I mean, it's almost like a broken record at this point, talking about the Green Bay Packers and their struggles as of late. AJ, last week, their team only scoring very little point. What was it, 9 points against the Detroit Lions last week? It has not looked good for the Green Bay Packers, and we can come on here and talk about what they need to do to fix things and this and that. And this game is going to be tough for them. They're matched up against a very good defense in the Dallas Cowboys, arguably the best defense, if not the best defense in the NFL. AJ, what does the Packers offense need to look like to be able to give themselves a chance in this game?
Better than anything it's looked like all season long. I mean, you on top of having an offense where there was no chemistry, now you have an offense where there's injuries to the guys you were trying to build chemistry with, and you got to go out there and try it again against one of the best defenses with new pieces. You know, Christian Watson, apparently he didn't get a concussion, so he's going to be full go this week. But all we've seen from him is every time he gets touched, it seems like he's going out of the game. You talk about David Bakhtiari, the guy that they were waiting to get back, because what he brings to that offensive line in the sense of protection is a difference changer for that entire line, and he's been injured. I know you asked about the offense, but on the defensive side of the ball, Rashawn Gary going out for the season. I mean, that's a big blow for the defensive side of the ball, which affects the offensive side of the ball, because if they can't stop anything, the offense has to work a lot harder when they're already not doing well. Man, I bet Mike McCarthy has been smiling all week long about this matchup. Aaron Rodgers is going to have to hope that Aaron Jones is good to go. He's going to hope that he can take a bulk load of this offense, and hope that A.J. Dillon can come along as well, because unless Allen Lazard's back to 100%, unless Christian Watson can make it more than 5 to 10 snaps, there's not going to be too many options, in my opinion. Sammy Watkins has been inconsistent as well, but we understood that. We talked about Sammy Watkins being good in the first couple weeks, and then he would basically Sammy Watkins it for the rest of the season. So this is another one that has to kind of go through their running backs, and hopefully they're healthy enough to be able to be productive against a really good Dallas defense.
Yeah, this game's going to –
okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
I was just going to say this game's going to come to my opinion, the only way Green Bay can win is they have to be extremely good on third down. You're talking about two teams offensively that neither one are really good on third down, Dallas or Green Bay, but defensively, they're two of the best third down defenses in the NFL. I think this is a game where Dallas has the advantage. There's no doubt about it, just because they're more complete than Green Bay. They can beat you in more ways than Green Bay can. But if Green Bay can somehow create opportunities on third down and convert on third down offensively and continue to get Dallas off the field on defense, they're going to have a chance in this game. The secondary in Green Bay is really good. Dallas is going to try to run the ball because they know that run defense for Green Bay is not good, and they're all banged up with no Rashawn Gary and Devondre Campbell. Those guys are all out. But it really comes down to third down. And I know you can say that about most games and most teams, but when you have a bad team like Green Bay, and they are a bad team, make no mistake about it right now, they're bad. If you win third downs and you create more opportunities for Aaron Rodgers, you always have a chance. As crazy as he is, and and the wide receiver position's not good. If you give Aaron Rodgers enough opportunities, you have a chance on third downs. You have a chance to win the game. With that being said, I don't think there is enough opportunities for Green Bay. I think Dallas is just the better football team. They're playing well. They're confident. They're hot. And Mike McCarthy, I think, has done a really good job and doesn't get credit for it as he should. Give me the Cowboys here, 27-17, and Green Bay continues to spiral and Dallas continues to ascend.
This is a revenge game for Mike McCarthy. This is his first time playing his former team. This is like that. Like by your logic, this is a revenge game for him, because he's never done it before.
And I'm disappointed in you because you didn't even give it your full effort. It was like revenge game for Mike McCarthy. It's revenge game.
Well, I do apologize. I am sorry I let the fans down by not giving it the proper respect, because this is a revenge game for Mike McCarthy. And with that being said, give me the Cowboys here, 24-17. This is it's just straight up, right? Simple, like you said. This is the defense of the Cowboys is too good for the Packers, and there's too many miscues, there's too many injuries. Cowboys 24-17.
Do we think that the Cowboys may have an issue airing the ball out on the Packers at the very least, or is the lack of possible pass rush with Deshaun Gary out gonna make it a little easier for them to have time to find CeeDee Lamb and I guess Dalton Schultz really?
I don't think they need to. Dallas doesn't need to air it out. That's not really their offense. Their offense is ground you, pound you, convert on third down over the middle. Like it's not a real like, oh, we want to spread it out type offense to where the secondary play for Green Bay is good. It's going to continue to be good.
Right.
Zaire Alexander is going to be good, but they're going to be on the field a lot. It's going to be third and short, which creates more opportunities than what you want to do. Linebackers have to bite on play action, that kind of stuff. I think the running game will allow Dallas to have success throwing the ball. I wouldn't be worried about whether Dak's going to throw for 300 because no, he's probably not. But I don't think they care. I don't think they want to.
Right. Okay. Just curious if if Dallas ended up having some issues, if you see a closer game than we thought, which is a part of the reason I have the Dallas Cowboys at 28-20. But this is, like we said, it's the better team. They're hot right now. They understand what keeping pace with their division means right now, and I don't think they falter. So in that case, simple, 28-20 Dallas.
Yeah, got to keep up in that NFC North. That's looking a lot better than what it used to be with the Giants being great. Got to keep
NFC
up with the Eagles.
East, man. Don't disrespect that.
NFC East. Whoopsies.
They're playing
NFC
the NFC
East.
North.
At least I got the right teams. At least I got the right teams right that I was saying with the Giants and the Eagles, and the Commanders are hot on their heels, at 4-5. So clean sweep for the Cowboys over the Green Bay Packers in Week 10. The next game on our list is the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. The Cardinals enter this game 3-6, the worst start to a Cliff Kingsbury-led season for this team in his time there. The Rams 3-5. The Rams are favored though by 1.5 points and over under of 41.5 here. The Rams won the first meeting this year between these two teams 20-12 back in Week 3. Aaron, if you can remember that game, what do the Cardinals? What's different? Maybe what's different about the Cardinals team from then to now, coming into this game?
DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, that's the biggest difference. But let's not forget, Hollywood Brown went for 100-something yards in that game. He had like 14 catches, like 140 yards. So he went off in that game, and that's the same defense that saw Jalen Ramsey. The one thing that I wanted to point out that I noticed the most in last week's loss to Tampa is the Rams got so soft defensively. They were playing off the receivers, and the Cardinals do a good job when you play soft coverage on running those quick outs and those quick hitches to DeAndre Hopkins and Hollywood Brown and get the balls in your hand. And I think that's what a lot of that was from that Week 3 game. I don't know that changes. I think the game plan stays the same. If you remember that game, Kyler Murray threw the ball 58 times in that game. It was it was weird because it was a defensive game similar to the Chiefs-Titans, but he threw the ball almost 60 times for 314 yards. Very clean game, but they weren't able to run it very well. James Conner was in that game, didn't do very well. It was a lot of passing, but not a lot of I can't even say the word. A lot of success in that game. I think you're going to see a very similar style game. Kyler played well, but he wasn't able to capitalize. There wasn't a lot of third down efficiency for the Rams, which allowed the Cardinals to have the ball a lot. I think it's a very similar game here. Neither team's going to be able to run it very well. It's going to come down to the quarterback play and the turnovers. And I don't want to make my pick yet, but yeah, it'll come down to the turnovers and the quarterback play. Yeah, I'm concerned Matt Stafford's got a concussion now, though. That definitely plays a role.
Yeah, that's huge. That is a huge thing. Matthew Stafford right now, eight passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions in 8 games this season for Stafford. So it's right at even. The last time these two teams though played, Cooper Kupp really had one of his worst days in a while. The last time these two teams played, I had the stat here. I don't know where it ended up. But
he
Cooper Kupp had
44.
4 for 40. There you go. Thank you. Good looking out. AJ, we obviously know the key to this Rams offense is the key to this Rams offense in the past has been give the ball to Cooper Kupp, and then hope for the best outside of that. Who needs to step up the most outside of Cooper Kupp on this? Well, Cooper Kupp doesn't need to step up. That's a terrible thing to say. Who needs to step up on this offense to join Cooper Kupp?
Well, if there's going to be no Matt Stafford, it's going to have to be these running backs. I mean, Darrell Henderson, I mean, is Cam Akers even a football player, or are they just like letting him get on the field because he's under contract? Like, these running backs have to find a way to get production. And this is kind of what, to an extent, what Sean McVay built his brand on, was finding ways to run the ball, to be able to get the ball out to receivers creatively. And without being able to run the ball, you're not creative at all. You just throw the ball to Cooper Kupp. We were talking about when Tyler Higbee had a big piece of this offense, and I might be mistaken, but like, I don't feel like that's been the case as of late. I don't feel like they've even found a way to really get him the ball. So if they can't get a run game going against Arizona, they're going to find themselves off the field a lot. Their offense hasn't been doing well, even with Matthew Stafford at this point. If you're talking about having a backup quarterback and just Cooper Kupp at offense, no running game, no security blanket, no second receiver. I mean, this sounds like a get-right game for Arizona at that point in time. I did something, and I didn't like it as far as my pick went. And you see it there with the Rams 27-24. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I thought I gave you the Cardinals. I meant to give you the Cardinals. I apologize. But I do have.
Oh, you did put the Cardinals. Oh no, that's Aaron. Whoopsies. Nope.
Yes, it could have been from when I was there. Either way, I would like to verbally state the score is correct, but I have the Cardinals 27-24. Apologies.
Boo. I think the biggest
not only does this man hold on here. Not only does this man pick the different team than what he has in his messages, he didn't even put the team in the doc. He only put the score in the doc for this game.
I just saw that. I don't know how that happened
and I'm like, this man changed it all. This man changed it all. Hey,
maybe I was on the fence before subconsciously. Didn't even
that's
know.
what it is. It was a sign. It was a sign that maybe you should. That's what it was. So you got the Cardinals, same score though, 27-24.
27-24.
Got it, Aaron.
Allen Robinson. This is to me. This is all about the Rams and their weapons that they went out and spent money on. And Allen Robinson. AJ mentioned Tyler Higbee. The last 3 weeks, Tyler Higbee has 3 catches. Started the season really good. Last 3 weeks, 3 catches, because I thought they were trying to get Allen Robinson involved more. But let's be honest, Allen Robinson ain't it. This is what I tried to tell you guys in the offseason. Allen Robinson is not a top flight receiver in this league. Never really has been, by the way, talent-wise. Played with bad quarterbacks, got opportunities, put up numbers. But this is what I always say. You get enough opportunities, you're going to put up numbers. The stats will be there. But when you have to go create separation and you can't do it consistently, you will die in the NFL. And we've seen it with Julio Jones. We've seen it with Des Bryant. We've now seen it with Allen Robinson. If you cannot create separation, if you're that big body guy, win jump balls when you're young, and you have enough athleticism, it works for so long, but there is going to come a point you will hit that wall and you can't get separation in the NFL. It's just the place you die. We've seen it with too many receivers. It's the same concerns I have about Drake London as his career progresses. I know he's only a rookie. He's fine. But as it progresses, I worry about players like that. It's happened to Allen Robinson, and you paid him 3 years, whatever it was. That's got to be disappointing for the Rams. It's got to be disappointing for the Rams. And then you add on top of that, Van Jefferson just trying to get his feet underneath him. They've tried to double a couple of deep shots, and you see he doesn't have that burst right now. He's still trying to get back. I think the Rams are done, man. And there's having a concussion this late in the week for Matt Stafford and being in protocol announced on a Wednesday. That's a problem for me. I don't even know that he's going to be on the field on Sunday. I have Arizona winning this game 24-20, and that's if Matt Stafford plays. If he doesn't play, it's probably a lot worse than that. Give me Arizona on the road here. They're not playing well either, but I just trust them a little bit more right now than I trust the Rams. 24-20 Arizona.
I think we also talk about one thing we talk about a lot is division splitting games, like splitting games between guys in the division rivals here. And the Rams obviously won that first one. I think the Cardinals win this one to give it that split. But I also I might go less on the points too if Matthew Stafford doesn't play, and maybe more on the Cardinals side. I had a hard time only giving the Cardinals 23 points here because I do think this team has been very good on offense, scoring points. But 23-21 for the Cardinals, and that is another clean sweep across the board as the Cardinals defeat the Rams along the way. whatever the word I'm looking for. Cardinals over the Rams. Sunday Night Football features two West Coast teams. Aaron, this is right up your alley here. Two California teams, the Chargers, the Niners here. Niners enter this game coming off of their bye. They're 4-4. Chargers 5-3. The Niners 7-point favorites here with an over-under of 45.5. I'm going to be ridiculous here, and I don't care what anyone says off the jump, puts in the comments, or says, Aaron, over under 200.5 yards total for Christian McCaffrey in this game. That's where
Bailey.
That's where the conversation has to start, because this Chargers defense has been one of the worst against stopping the run and stopping running backs. And they're not just facing Cordero Patterson this week. They're not just facing whoever they're not facing Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're not facing these other running backs they played. They're facing the best running back in the NFL in Christian McCaffrey. This is a problem.
Absolutely, it's a problem. I'm not going to go and say over on 200 yards for just Christian McCaffrey, but for that 49ers rushing offense, for sure over 200 yards. Listen, they gave up 200 to Atlanta last week. Christian McCaffrey's a lot better than that, but beyond Christian McCaffrey being better than that, this is really not about Christian McCaffrey. There's not many teams that scheme up the run game like the 49ers do better than the 49ers. And then you add the explosive weapon of changing out an Elijah Mitchell or Jeff Wilson for a better running back in Christian McCaffrey. I'll say it again. This is the most versatile offense in the NFL, especially when everybody's healthy. I know Deebo Samuel's banged up. He probably won't play, but you still have George Kittle. You have Christian McCaffrey. Hopefully Brandon Ayuk's still out there. Hopefully Jawan Jennings is back on the field. And I think that's enough for the 49ers in this game, because of how good that defense is and their ability to get after the quarterback and the versatility of them on offense. Christian McCaffrey is going to have a day. If you have Christian McCaffrey on your fantasy team, you've been waiting for this matchup for 2 weeks now, once he got moved to the 49ers. I know I have, and I expect a huge day from him, both on the ground and through the air. So, yes, you're right. Huge day for Christian McCaffrey here. I don't know if he touches over 200 total yards, but 180, 170 is just as good. So, expect a big day here from C-Mac.
AJ on the other side, Austin Eckler really leads this offense here on the Chargers side with all the injuries that they've had. No Mike Williams in the past few games, no Keenan Allen for the past few games, and maybe for the foreseeable future. Jesus Christ. Austin Eckler has been the focal point of this team, but in this game, you might have to go around. You might have to spread it around and find ways to get other guys involved. What is the key for the Chargers in this one to pull off the upset over the Niners?
Consistency and simplicity. You don't need to make too much happen. If you're not going to have your guys, if you're not going to have your go-tos, what's the best way to get the ball to your playmakers? What's the best way to find an Austin Eckler? What's the best way to find a Gerald Everett, who's been playing pretty decently over the past couple weeks? 8 targets, 9 targets, 7 targets week in and week out, and finding ways to produce. Joshua Palmer, is he going to have a say in any of this? Keep it consistent to your playmakers that you have left and make it simple. I mean, you don't have to be the Justin Herbert that threw 5,000 yards this season, because that hasn't worked. Right now, you're at the final spot of a wild card game in the AFC. You need to find a way to not slip any further than that, and that happens by finding ways to get the ball into the hands of the players that are going to make the plays when it matters the most. This is going to be a tough game against one of the better defenses, despite whatever injuries they ever have. But Eric Armstead may be back. He may be able to rush the ball next to Nick Bosa. I think he mentioned Jimmy Ward coming back in that secondary. I think San Francisco has enough on both sides of the ball now that they're going to be able to give the L to the Chargers. Give me San Francisco 28-24.
Aaron?
Yeah, I know this is not a fantasy show, but I did want to address the Austin Eckler situation that people were down on him after 3 weeks. They're looking real stupid now, right? We told you that Austin Eckler would be fine. Looking real dumb. And we talked about the touchdowns he didn't score in week 3. He's had 10 touchdowns in 5 weeks. The man is a fantasy monster. For everybody that doubted him, shame on you. But the Niners are too much here. I think they score at will. Chargers will keep it close. I think their offense is good enough to move the ball a little bit. Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. He ain't Tua, but he's a good quarterback. But the Chargers lose. They're back at 500. The story of Justin Herbert's career. I think it'll be 500, maybe 5-4. But yeah, the story of Justin Herbert's career. Average quarterback, average winning. Niners win 30-24.
Yeah, this would put the Chargers at 5-4 if they lose this game. But and that's what I have as well. Another clean sweep across the board. I have the Niners in this one, 31-24. We gotta stop agreeing on things. I'm not sure that changes with our next game. The Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football, battle of two NFC East teams, the rivalry there. The Eagles, of course, enter this game undefeated, 7-0. The Commanders, 4-5 here, but the Eagles, 11-point favorites with an over-under of 44 points in this matchup. AJ, I've been going to you on these questions, so I'm going to switch it up here. Aaron, what's the key for the Eagles or the Commanders to pull off the upset here? Because we've talked about it before. Last week, specifically, when it was against the Texans, or maybe the week before when it was against the Steelers, I think it was. You talked about you thinking, okay, the shoe is going to end up dropping with the Eagles, and maybe they do lose one game. Maybe they slip up.
I don't say the shoe is going to drop. I mean, they're going to have a slip up at some point.
Yeah, a slip up in terms of their record. They lose a game, maybe not, obviously not being a bad team, but they slip up along the way. If it were to be the Commanders this week, what do the Commanders have to do?
Not turn the football over. That's why they lost last week. The Commanders had been winning because they weren't turning the football over. I told you at the beginning of the season that Washington with a quarterback is a borderline playoff team. And I just laughed because it was Carson Wentz. And I said, that's why they won't make it. Taylor Heineke comes in. They win 3 straight. They're looking good. And last week, they're on their way to their 4th straight win. And what happens? They turn the football over. In the NFL, that's that slim of a margin, and Washington is not the team that can overcome those type of mistakes. Philly could turn the football over in a game or two, a couple of turnovers, and overcome those mistakes. Washington cannot. If they don't turn the football over, I think they'll be in the game and they have a chance. One thing I'll say it again, this line is disrespectful. 11 points to a division opponent. I don't care if it's at home, is disrespectful. And Washington has to understand that and come in with some fire. And again, this is a rivalry game. It won't shock me if Washington's winning this game into the 3rd quarter and we're like, oh, Philly's in trouble. But Philly's the better team and should win the game. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. I don't know. I think the line is disrespectful, but the Washington just can't turn the football over. Turnovers, it's a blowout. If they don't turn it over, it'll be close and they'll have a chance in the end.
Yeah. Washington's really done a good job during their win streak. Obviously, they're riding high right now. They've held the lead in the second half for 5 straight games. Like they've been getting the lead early and then not letting go. And Taylor Heineke has been a big part of that because of the lack of the difference in turnovers between him and Carson Wentz. I realized I did say that the Eagles were 7-0 to start this video, and I apologize. They are 8-0, obviously. That matters to me. AJ, this Eagles offense, though, it's been firing on all cylinders, scoring a lot of points. They've been looking good running the ball. What have you seen from their defense over the past few weeks?
I mean, they're complete, in my opinion. Of course, it's a full 60-minute game. A lot of talent on both sides, but they find a way to be complete. They can rush the ball. They can get side to side in the middle, and they have one of the best secondaries in the league between Darius Big Play Slay and James Bradbury, and then you throw in a C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Like, they have one of the best defenses in the league. You look at that secondary, and you wonder if Darius Slay has been playing. That's because Bradbury has 17 more targets, because that's you choosing your poison, and 9 times out of 10 both poisons are going to kill you. This defense it took them 3 weeks to get to where we thought they could be, and they haven't really looked back. Now again, it's the NFL. If Taylor Heineke comes in, because you think about what they did with Carson Wentz, sacked him 9 times. Carson Wentz was not the same mobile person, quote unquote, that he was when he came into the league. Taylor Heineke is still young enough to move around and avoid some of those sacks and make some plays off script. But if they can get the pressure like they did last time and even get back there 4 times, 5 times, it's going to be a tough day for that offense. And this defense is coming from it from all angles. So when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles defense, you know you have a very tough task against your hand. You mentioned, you said 7-0. It was a mistake. They're actually 8-0. I'm telling you, they're going to be 9-0. That is going to happen. Give me the Eagles 30-17.
Yeah, I think I'm on board with that as well. I think it's a lower scoring game though. And I think Aaron, you were on to something with talking about and pointing out the fact that the spread is a little disrespectful when it's a division matchup. I do think it being a division matchup, and for some reason, primetime games this year have all been lower scoring. And I know that's not like a trend to attach yourself to, because every game is different. Every team is different. I'm going to stick with that trend here, but still have the Eagles winning 24-20. Aaron, you brought up the turnovers being a big thing for the Commanders to limit. Well, the Eagles force the most turnovers in the NFL, and I think that's going to be the difference maker here. Eagles 24-20.
Yeah, I agree. I have the Eagles winning this one as well. I think they're able to score on Washington's defense. I think this is a one-score game late in the fourth quarter, and Philly ices it at the end. You're looking at probably 26-21 or something like that, and then Philly goes in, scores a touchdown, and ices them off. So I do have them covering the spread, but this is, like I said, it would not shock me if this game is closer than what that spread is. I think it's a disrespectful spread. 33-21, Philly wins.
There you have it. That does it for our NFC Week 10 game previews. Again, this is tomorrow. We'll be back for our AFC game previews for Week 10, but we do have a Thursday night football matchup. Let's get into our prime time plays.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, you should let that be. You need
Monday night.
You need to let that be right out a little bit longer.
Yeah, I made that really fast last week, and I haven't touched it since. Notice how it still said Monday Night Football on it. But it is time for our Thursday Night Football DFS plays, our prime time plays. This is where we invite 100 of our friends, 100 of our fans to join us in our DraftKings showdown. We pick players in this one and just the primetime games. See if you can be the best out of the 100 fans that join our contest. If you can, that'd be great. We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen someone from our show group take the crown. So maybe it'll be this week. Gentlemen, what are your DraftKings lineups looking like tonight between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons?
Poopy.
Yep.
I mean, I got some studs on here, I think. I went with my captain on the Carolina side, believe it or not. Take my stab at DJ Moore, 13.8. Hopefully, being the guy on that side, he'll get the points for me as a captain. And then I'm putting Deontay Foreman for my other flex for running back from their side. Then I got Cordero Patterson. I am taking Kyle Pitts in this game. I think they look for him this time around. Tyler Algiers in my lineup, and then I had no money. So everybody was left on the Panther side and give me Tommy Tremble.
Oh, gross.
Tight end, going to get himself in the end zone.
First of all, they've been looking for Kyle Pitts. He had 8 targets last week. Calm down.
Yeah.
Looking for Kyle Pitts this time.
I've got my team set. My captain is Tyler Algier, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall, Kyle Pitts, Younghoe Koo, and Cordero Patterson are my team. AJ, do you remember me talking about Terrace Marshall back in the yes. When he was drafted? Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
remember you. Yeah.
Cool.
Nobody said we didn't remember you. We didn't say what it was for.
I wasn't saying no one said they remember. I was wondering if AJ did, because I was like, man, what a world. That first season was shit. And then now it's starting to develop, and I'm like, okay, maybe I was actually finally right about something.
I mean, he caught a couple passes.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd like. Yeah. I mean, he's not the future.
That is true. Aaron, what's your lineup looking like?
I don't know. You guys are talking. I can't concentrate.
This man.
These are shitburger teams, bro. What's going on here? All right, my captain is Deontay. My captain is Deontay Foreman. I got Younghoe Koo in that mug. Younghoe hella cool. I got Younghoe Koo because she hella cool. I got Marcus Mariota. I got Cordero Patterson. I got Drake London, and that leaves me with 3,900 left. And I was thinking about going Tommy Tremble too, so that might be the play. What's so funny?
It's just the world we live in when we have no money left. You just have to scroll straight down to Tommy Tremble.
I'm gonna do a little differently. I'm gonna throw you a little different. I'm gonna throw you a little differently. I changed my mind. I took out young weight. I took out that young ho who hella cool.
He's gonna be cool.
I put in. Shit, I don't like this. I can't do it, guys. All right.
Here, hold on. I got you. Hold on. I got you. Hold on. I got you. Let me help you think.
All right, I got it now. All right. I'm gonna go crazy hard on this. This is gonna seem stupid, but I'm gonna do it. All right, I'm going Deontay Foreman as my captain. Tyler Algier, that young ho, he's still in there. He hella cool. Marcus Mariota, Cordero Patterson. No, what happened? Bro, I messed up.
Oof.
I want Drake London in there.
Oof.
Wow. This is you're struggling here, buddy, huh?
This
is your first
suck, man. This is what happens when you want to watch the Falcons play.
Wow.
You going to this game?
Wow.
Hell no. All right, I got it.
Fantastic. What is it?
All right, I'm going Atlanta defense. How about that, mother? Atlanta defense. Oh, this is so stupid.
Now he's struggling. Now he's reaching. Now he's just reaching.
Let's end the show and I'll tell you later.
All right. Well, that does it for another episode of the Sac City Podcast. We'll be back again live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for our AFC game picks. Don't want to miss it. We are covering your teams your ways, so be sure to check out your team's previews and recaps on our YouTube.
All right, I'm locked in. I got it. Deontay Foreman, Young Hoku, Drake London, Marcus Mariota, Cordero Patterson, and Tommy Trimble. I'm submitting it. I'm ending it. I don't care. It's in there. I'm done.
Done deal. Tune in tomorrow live, 10 a.m. Eastern Time for AFC game picks for my best friend Aaron Mukes and for your boy AJ Johnson. I am me. We will see you tomorrow.
He's out.
Holler.
That was awesome. That was awesome.